What happens when you get a comic book that you think is a good one or a bad one? Well, you're about to find out, because on this episode, this is the premiere episode of the comic book reviews, Hit or Miss. Is it a hit or a total misfire? Let's find out together, because this is the comic book review show. Let's go. Welcome back, Adventurous Ones, for another episode of the Comic Book Review Show. I'm your host, as always, the Adventurous One himself, the master of all multiverses, the reason why the MCU and the DCEU took a total shit, Joseph Michaels, the Adventurous Joe, at your service. Yeah, one of these days, everybody's going to really blame me for everything. Anyways, this is the premiere of Hit or Miss. Unlike where, Mike Spider Slayer does his whole Worthy Ones kind of deal and stuff like that, this is along the lines of these comics I have read through, and basically they're issue number ones and everything in between. And I tell you whether or not, I tell you all about what they were and stuff like that, and whether I thought they were a hit or a miss. Meaning, if it's a hit, I'm going to continue reading it. I'm going to continue after issue 1 and keep going. If it's a miss, I'm going to say, throw it in the giveaway pile or something. Anyways, let's get started. Right now, we're starting things off with Marvel's Iron Cat. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this comic was so back and forth with Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. Literally so back and forth. It starts off with her in the present trying to break into some vault to get some diamond back or something that has some kind of personal value to her or something like that. Okay. And while she's talking about these things, she starts mentioning things about a character, another guy named Black Fox, who I guess was her mentor or something like that. Okay, and how she turned him in, or turned on him and betrayed him because he was ready to give up his life to some aliens or something. And I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, I must have missed something somewhere and stuff. And this is only issue 1 of this thing. Well, it turns out this is a 5-part mini-series of an issue 1. Anyways, it goes from the present to the past, over and over throughout the entire issue. And I am sitting there going, okay, so this guy, Black Fox, had all these connections and stuff. He was training Felicia and her ex-girlfriend to become these master thieves and everything else in between. And I'm sitting back and going, okay, what in the world? Anyways, it turns out Iron Cat is an Iron Man based like suit that Felicia wore in her own Black Cat series. Okay, which I never read. And on top of all that, Iron Man rebuilt the blasted thing after she destroyed it. Now the costume gets stolen, the armor gets stolen by someone, and Felicia's the prime suspect. Okay, but here's the thing. She's not the one that took the armor. And it's so setting it up because of all of its back and forth to the past and the present crap that it basically came right out and told you by the end of this issue 1 of this, it was her ex-girlfriend. Her ex-girlfriend stole the Iron Cat suit and now is trying to kill her. Yeah. This thing was so back and forth, I got lost on everything. And then finding out that, she's talking about stuff that happened in comics I never even read. Okay? So this is, in my general opinion, a hit or a miss. This is a complete miss. I won't be continuing it after issue 1. Because it's tying in stuff from ongoing comics that at the time and stuff like that. It's talking about things I don't know anything about from these other comics and stuff. And on top of all that, too much of the back and forth crap. Seriously. Any other time in Marvel's history of doing these kind of stories, you didn't have all this back and forth all the time. So, this one is a miss and goes in the pile for the miss. The Whisper Queen, a Black Sand Tale. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I read this first issue and became completely lost what the heck was going on. Because apparently it states right here on the cover, the long-awaited sequel to The White Trees, a Black Sand Tale. Now apparently you had to have read The White Trees first in order to know what was going on in this comic. So I literally just was like, nope. After I was done reading it and stuff, I was just like, nah, I can't get into it. So this is actually a miss right away. 7 Secrets by Boom Studios, issue 1. I'm going to tell you right now, this was the strangest comic I had ever read. Why? Because this blasted thing is got somebody narrating the whole thing, and you don't know who it is that's narrating it till almost the very end of the comic. It turns out this guy is a psychopathic killer, okay, and the person narrating the comic, the story of this issue 1, is the son of the guy he kills and his mom. They were both some kind of artifact collectors or something. They like professional artifact thieves like Tomb Raider and stuff. And they were not allowed to marry. They weren't allowed to have sex and all that kind of stuff. Nice order, huh? That's why it's called 7 Secrets. Okay? Because the order of 7 is basically like a group that says no red meat, no sleeping together, no making babies. Otherwise, we gotta take your baby away from you and kill it or some stuff. I was like, what the actual F am I reading here? Okay. And by the time I was finished with issue 1 of this, I said I'm not doing any more. So it's a total miss. It just had me so lost, confused, didn't know if it was continuing on from someone else's story or something, to the point that I just said, I'm done. And I'm going to tell you right now, this one right here is going in the miss pile. This is all about robbing a bank through digital means. I am sitting there going, how is this even a comic book? It's all about these guys that are robbing a federal bank through digital means. They're literally hackers hacking into a bank, and this guy stops it. Okay? But his boss is such a royal fat jackass that he literally takes credit for everything. Oh, we had a hacking issue. He didn't do anything. I did it. I'm the big man here. Yeah, you're big, buddy. You need to go on a diet. Anyways. Now I can understand why this was in Rob Fatstack's giveaway box. Because it's garbage. Now, a lot of times, Rob's got great stuff in his box, but this one was just total garbage. Hit or miss. Total miss. Night Watcher, issue 1. Brand new series. Well, I don't know if it's a series or a mini-series. from IDW, but it's a continuation thing going on with IDW's ongoing Ninja Turtles series, which I have not read in over 5 years now. Okay, so this one, reading this issue 1 of this, I am literally going back and forth going, wait, when the heck did Baxter Stockman become mayor of New York? What? And then on top of that, who in the world is Night Watcher? It's it's a turtle, but you don't know which one. And then on top of that, they're talking about a bomb that went off in the frickin' city that created mutants. Right away after getting done reading this issue 1, I told Paul at ABX Comics and Games, great guy, love to deal with him and stuff, always good with the hookups and stuff, to take this off my pull list. It's a total miss for me because I haven't read Ninja Turtles ongoing in over 5 years. I don't know crap about what the heck they're talking about in this comic. And I'm just like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. Space Ghost, issue 1 from Dynamite. I gotta tell you right now, this is not Space Ghost Coast to Coast. This is not Cartoon Planet Space Ghost. This is not Space Ghost that you knew from the 60s or 70s watching that cartoon from back then by Hanna-Barbera. This is Space Ghost, who is like the frickin' boogeyman to every bad guy in the universe. Because they know when he appears and kicks the crap out of you and then disappears again, he's like Batman of space. Literally. In this comic series. It's violent, beyond measure. It's unbelievable how it all plays out. The characters being introduced and everything else in between. Jan and Jace's dad gets killed in the very first issue, not even towards the end yet and stuff. And on top of that, Bleep there, or whatever, Bleep, I keep forgetting that damn monkey's name. Anyways, he's the reason that the dad was killed. Some kind of intelligence program or something that he was working on, he installed it into the monkey. Erased everything off the mainframe, installed it into the monkey. By the time this issue ends, Space Ghost literally tells Jan and Jace they're not going to be alone anymore because he's here now. And I was like, dude, their dad just got killed and you literally just adopted him just like that? I'm like, wow. Just wow. Now, was this a hit or a miss? This was a complete hit. I plan to get issues 2 and up so I can continue reading on, because this is Space Ghost like you'd never seen him before and stuff. He's not pussyfooting around with the bad guys and stuff. He's not cracking wisecracks or jokes and everything else in between. He is the serious mother effer out there in policing the galaxy and making sure everybody stays safe from the space pirates out there. The evil aliens of all kinds. I mean, the species that's Brack is in this first issue. And they try to say, oh, they're not part of the space pirates and stuff. They're part of the space patrol. They're supposed to be there helping you and stuff like that. And they go there and try to kill the kids just to get the information and stuff. Because the one kid, I think it was Jace, that literally blurps out to both of them that, the monkey's important, man. We got, the monkey's important. My dad put something in it and stuff. It's more important than anything right now. And they literally turn their guns on the kids, literally ready to shoot them just to take the monkey. I'm like, what? Space Ghost shows up, kicks the crap out of them and stuff. and then tells Jan and Jace, come with, like the Terminator, come with me if you want to live. Anyway, this is a hit. We will be continuing. Next up, Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age, issue 1 of 6. Now, I thought this originally was supposed to be a 12-part miniseries, but I guess it got corrected afterwards or something, and it's now just a 6-part miniseries. Okay, a 6-part series. Anyways, Gotham, if you've never read Gotham by Gaslight, it takes place in the Elseworld, DC's Elseworld stories kind of deal, where in the age of steampunks and all that kind of stuff, and you hear about burlesque shows, all that kind of stuff. You know, the kind of stuff they had in Paris, France and stuff like that. Well, in the very first Gotham by Gaslight, Batman, Bruce Wayne, went up against Jack the Ripper. Okay? Unreal stuff. It was just like, what? Batman's taking on Jack the Ripper. What? Okay. This new one now introduces us to Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. And it also brings about Superman, and among other things. But this is all in a steampunk type era. Okay, where they basically are just getting around to steam-powered locomotives and machines and all that kind of stuff, okay? Factories are getting more advanced now and stuff. Yeah. Batman shows up to stop the ninjas that are trying to kill Selina Kyle. Okay? He literally busts into this whole criminal organization thing that's going on, or little get-together that they had, because she was supposed to give them some kind of a ring that looks like a Green Lantern ring. Okay? And turns out it's a fake. Okay, the ring's a fake, so it's been moved by somebody and stuff. Turns out Batman set it up so he knew the damn thing would get stolen and he could track the criminals. Okay? Towards the end of this issue, Batman takes on the League of Assassins. Literally, the League of Assassins show up. And they literally try taking the ring. They try to kill Catwoman and everything else in between. They try taking the ring, not knowing it's a fake. And just as Batman's getting ready to take one of them down and stuff, the ninja girl stabs him. Literally stabs him right through the... Oh my god. And you're just thinking, is Batman gonna die or whatever? Guess we won't know until we read more, because I'm telling you right now, was this a hit or miss? Oh, it's a hit. This is a hit. If you enjoyed Gotham by Gaslight, the first series, you're gonna love what's going on in this one. And with the introduction of Catwoman, Superman coming along soon, and everything else in between, there's much more on the horizon that you don't want to miss out. This is why this is a hit, and we will be continuing after issue 1 as we get issue 2 and up. Next up, Something is Killing the Children, issue 1. Now, this one I got heavily involved in. Okay, issue 1 is basically Eve here is a killer, is out killing monsters. Okay, but nobody is supposed to know about these monsters. Nobody's supposed to know. And it turns out there's a kid and his friends screwed around, and the kid tried to tell his friends, don't go out there. He basically tried to tell them, don't go out there. But they didn't want to listen to him. He kept telling them, there's something out in those woods and stuff. Out by the creek thing. Don't go out there. And Next thing you know, he said all he heard was screaming from his, screaming, yelling, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what he told the cops anyway. But it turns out when he meets Eve for the first time and stuff, he talks, and towards the end of the issue, he talks to her, tells her everything, and tells her he didn't just hear them screaming. He saw them getting destroyed. He saw his friends get murdered by this creature in the woods and stuff. And Eve's job is to take these monsters down. This is why it's called Something is Killing the Children. Because when she arrives in town, it turns out there's over 17, I think it was like 17 or 27 deaths already, or missing children. And because there's literally a bulletin board with flyers all over it. Now, this is not in color. The actual series is in color. This was a limited edition version and pen and ink version. And even though it wasn't in color, you could see the sheer terror. You could see the gore and everything else in between it. Now the question is, am I going to continue reading it? Hit or miss? This is a hit. This is something that I love. This kind of thing. I'm not a big thing on people getting torn to shreds and that kind of thing and stuff. But when you got something like a Monster Hunter type woman that's like Buffy the frickin' Vampire Slayer among everything else, this is worth reading. Okay? You want to continue with Something Killing the Children. You want to keep reading it. You want to know more about what's going on. How Eve got started on this whole thing in the first place. It's worth reading. So, this is a hit. And we'll continue reading after issue 1. But I'm not going to go out and get all the frickin' comics, because they're now up to about volume 5 or 6 now in trade paperback format. So I'm just going to get the trade paperbacks and continue reading them from there. Next, Grimm, issue 1. Now this one was a funny one. Okay? It's supposed to be serious, but it's also supposed to be funny. It's got its funny moments too. Especially how it ends. Especially how it ends. The first issue ends. She is a Grim Reaper. One of many. Okay? And she comes down there to get the soul of this guy who just died. Okay? He died in, I believe it was a car accident or something like that? Yeah, car accident. And, she came there to claim him and stuff. Okay? He goes with her. He's on the river Styx and everything else in between. Okay? And just as she's depositing him to the waiting room, where all souls have to sit, waiting for their turn to find out whether they're going up or they're going down. Either way, she leaves him in the waiting room after she's collected him and stuff. And it turns out her scythe is missing. And she's just like frantically looking through her pockets and everything else in between going, where'd my scythe go? And then she just remembered that guy that she just brought in, grabbed her, and she's like, he took my scythe! He took my scythe! And oh my god. And it turns out, with the scythe, you can return to the real world. Okay? That's how the Grim Reapers come into our world. They basically collect our souls when we're dead or something like that, and they come here to collect the soul. The scythe is to keep them from being seen by everyone but the soul. And she goes into major panic mode to literally trying to find out where the heck her scythe went and stuff. And when she finds out that that guy took it, that she just brought in, And then she's just like asking her two greatest friends in the world, please help me out of here. Get me out of this. We got to get out of this situation. They're like, why do we want to help? Okay, so they go into the real world. They track him down, and it leads into a freaking chase that they have to literally cut him off. And she starts, if you can see it from here and stuff, her face goes from her normal flesh color to this when she's getting super PO'd. And while chasing the guy, she literally starts revealing her face. And when she does tackle the guy finally and stuff, okay, to get her sight back, she's grabbed. Now, as a Grim Reaper, she's not supposed to be seen by anyone. She's not supposed to be able to be touched. She's not even supposed to be seen by human eyes. And she gets grabbed by a police officer. And he's like, are you drunk or something? What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you doing on the ground like that? And she's like, you can see me? And it's like the number one rule broken right then and there. Grim Reapers are not meant to be seen by anyone except the soul they're there to collect. And I'm like, oh my God. And her boss found out about this and is like, I'm gonna kill that little shit. I'm going to kill her. She broke the number one rule, but she didn't break the rule. She got the guy to where he was supposed to be, and he's the one that took the damn scythe. I'm like, oh my God. So is this a hit or a miss? This is a total hit. I am reading more of Grimm. I enjoyed the first issue. I got so much laughter out of it when she's trying to go after him to get her scythe back and everything else in between. And then ends up getting grabbed by the guy. I'm sitting there going, I'm like, oh my God, she's being seen. She can be seen. And her friends, they're still got their scythes, so they're like, oh, she's in so much trouble. Yeah, she's in a lot of trouble with her boss because her boss ain't too happy at the end of this issue. Anyways, it's a total hit. Grimm by Boom Studios. I will be continuing on. It's already in trade paperback format, hardcover novel, hardcover graphic novel format and stuff. I won't be picking up the regular issues. I'll just get the graphic novels and go from there. But it's a total hit. If you want to read stuff like this, get in on it. Next up, Radiant Black. This one is fan-freaking-tastic. I'm going to tell you right now, the first issue kind of starts off slow. Like, it's like something that, you're not going to be too interested in and stuff. Because this guy wanted to be a writer. He wanted to be a writer. He left his hometown to go to Los Angeles to be a big shot writer and everything else in between. His dream of being a writer was crushed. Literally. He could not focus on anything. He was broke. He tried asking for a loan to get money so he could survive and everything else in between. He took a job as an Uber driver, if you will. Okay. And he's literally on the verge of a nervous breakdown. But rather than wanting to off himself or anything else in between it, he goes back home. And his dad, where his mom is all excited to be happy to see him, back home again and stuff. She's like, oh, my baby's home, my baby boy's home again and stuff. His dad, on the other hand, is just a jackass motherfucker. Sorry about that, but that's the word of the day for this guy. His dad is like one of those hard-nosed guys that sits there and says, oh, you wanted to be a writer. How'd that turn out for you? Oh, you're back home again. Guess that writing thing didn't work out for you. I told you that's a stupid dream to begin with. Yep. Mirroring the reality right there. Anyways, he goes out one night after getting home, back to his hometown and stuff. He goes out with his best friend from high school and gets drunk. Okay? And just as they're getting ready to leave the bar and stuff, there's this thing here, right here on his chest, suddenly appears. And he's like, what in the world is that thing? He's like, oh, it looks like a miniature black hole. And the minute he touches it, he goes, ah! Like, oh my God. And his best friend's going, let go of it. What are you doing? And next thing you know, boom. He's got this costume on. And he's like, how do I get out of this thing? What do I do? And two cops show up, trying to tell him get off the railroad tracks. And his best friend is one of those hardcore people that's, protester type people and stuff, that says, well, what if I don't want to get off the track and stuff? You know, I've got rights in this country. You can't violate my right to stand on these tracks and everything else. And they're trying to tell him the train's coming, and even his best friend is trying to tell him the train is coming behind us. Get the hell off the tracks! He's not listening. He wants to be the protester guy and stuff. And all of a sudden, as he's getting emotional, getting upset about him not listening and everything else in between, the train literally comes off the tracks. And so the cop car goes up in the air. The two cops are up in the air. His best friend suddenly starts going up in the air, and he's like pulling him back down, and he's like, what did you do? And it turns out this is a superhero type costume. Okay? Some kind of an alien type costume and stuff that acts a lot like Venom's symbiote. Okay? It's like bonded to him kind of deal. Kind of like Blue Beetle is the same way and stuff. This thing bonds to him. Okay? And he's literally going, I don't know how to control this thing. I can't get the helmet off. I feel like I'm going to be sick and everything else in between. And at one point, he does throw up. And he's like, he doesn't know, he's going to throw up in the helmet and stuff. And the helmet opens up the little mouth part and lets him start hurling. What the hell? I'm like, what in the hell is this? And he goes, later after that, gets everything back under control, puts the train back on the track, puts the cops down in their car back down. Okay, and the cops decide, we're out of here. I'm not filing a report about this crap. Are you out of your mind? The chief will never believe us. Okay, anyways. He wants to get the helmet off. He's so upset over the fact he can't get it off. I don't know, where's the button on this thing to, and his best friend figures out, it's controlled by emotions. It's controlled by your emotions. Calm yourself down and think about removing the helmet. Okay, next thing you know, he's going, okay, calm down. Deep breaths. Calm it down. And next thing you know, he's thinking about the helmet coming off, and the helmet literally comes off. Literally just like dissolves off of his face and everything else in between. I'm sitting there going, what in the world? I was like, this thing's like freaking, this thing is like the freaking symbiote for Venom, or like the black suit for Spider-Man at the time and stuff. The alien costume. That's what this is. Only this thing grants him superpowers and everything else in between. And while they think this is a rare occurrence and stuff, that he's one of a kind, the issue ends with the bank being exploded and stuff like that, and you're like, what in the world is going on? Is this a supervillain he's going to face and stuff? No. It might be a supervillain. You'll have to find out after issue 1, okay? Because at the end of the first issue, there's another person with this same costume. Only theirs is all red and black. And I'm like, this is like copycatting Marvel's Venom and Carnage. But was it a hit or a miss? This was a total hit. Now this is already up to volume 5 or going on volume 6 of the trade paperbacks and stuff. So this is a hit. I will be continuing this. I will be continuing this thing. I want to see more. I want to know more. And I want to know how he's going to make this all work for him. Because he went from a guy that dreams were shattered to suddenly being like a superhero with an alien type costume. It's a total hit. We'll be continuing it. Next up, Nocterra. Excuse me. Yeah, Nocterra. This one is a strange, very strange one. Why is it a very strange one? Because something blacks out the sun. It starts the issue off with these children in a classroom and stuff. And you don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden you hear the teacher going, oh, it's getting dark outside. And then there's a news report saying that the sun just suddenly disappeared. Like it's been blacked out. Okay, totally blacked out. You can't see the sun. There's no sunlight anymore. Next thing you know, there's all these creatures, all these things, these crazy things happening. And we jump forward to this girl right here and her brother. Okay, now it turns out originally she was blind. Okay, as a child, she was blind. Her parents, her real parents didn't want her, and so she ended up getting adopted. And her adoptive parents helped her get the surgery to fix her eyes and everything else in between. Okay, so she could see again. And right after the blackout happens, her and her brother, it basically don't tell you what happened to her mom and dad and stuff, her adopted mom and dad, but I'm assuming they ended up getting killed or something, which we'll probably find out in later issues or something, because this is basically her story talking about how she's trying to save her brother. Because her brother went out after something from another place or something, and he got infected. And this is how they search to make sure you're not infected. They check your gums, they check the lining of your mouth and stuff like that. And if you got any kind of black inside your jawline area and stuff like that, it means you've been infected. And whatever is going on with blacking out the sun like it did and stuff, that is what causes it. And on top of that, there's monsters of all kinds. There's winged creatures and all that kind of stuff. She's basically a cargo transport person now. She picks up these people that gotta go to take them to another place, to take them to a safe haven and everything else in between. And she literally hates her job. But at the same time, she has no love for or caring for anyone but her brother. Okay? She doesn't care about this or that, because there's an old man and his granddaughter that literally she just brought there to the destination, brought them to where she's based at and stuff like that. And they're telling her they're going to pay her all this money out if they take her, she takes them to this place. Okay? This place is supposed to be some kind of place, like a safe haven, another safe haven. Except this one has got sunlight. The sun is beating through the clouds, the darkness, and everything else in between. Because something blocked out the sun. And this ain't like a Mr. Burns kind of stupidness where he says, I'm going to put this big shield thing over the sun and block out. No. Yeah, no. this is something strange that happened. All of a sudden, the sun is gone. There's no sunlight whatsoever. The only way the creatures of the darkness get taken down is by artificial light. So they have to literally use high beams. They literally have to use high beams, big floodlights, and everything else in between. Anything that's considered bright enough to kill them. Okay? She decides, after she finds out her brother's infected, she knows they're going to be coming for her brother because they're going to check and make, because he went out on his own, out of the colony. He wasn't supposed to leave the safe haven. And they've warned him about it before and stuff, and he, big Mr. Inventor, got himself infected. So now his sister is trying to save his life. But there's someone else that don't want her to save his life and don't want that old man to take her to that place. And that's how issue 1 ends. Now, was this a hit or a miss? Well, this was a total hit. I enjoyed the issue. I'm more intrigued about who this guy all in black is. I mean, he's literally all in black. There's no face. His mouth is when his mouth shows, he's got this wicked smile, like a yeah, you're gonna tell me where I want to go, or I'm gonna kill you kind of deal. Yeah, he's got that kind of a smile to his face. Everything else, he's just totally blacked out. And I was like, what in the world? How's this guy even a thing? But it turns out he is supposed to be some kind of legendary cargo holder, caller, just like she was, that she is. Only he is a bad guy. And you don't know why he's a bad guy, but he's after that old man and his granddaughter. And trying to make sure they can't get to that place. So, this is a total hit. It's already got 3 volumes out now in trade paperback format. So I will be picking up those volumes to continue reading the story. And who knows, maybe I'll do a full-blown review on it all when I'm done. Last but not least, on the hit or miss list, we got The Hunger and the Dusk. Now this one is a very interesting one because it takes place in a kind of like medieval type setting, or Elder Scrolls kind of deal, if you will. Now, our next one and our last one on the hit or miss list is The Hunger and the Dusk. Now the question is, what is the Hunger and the Dusk exactly? Well, it turns out the orcs and the humans and the elves, for that matter, are being hunted by vampires. Yup. In fact, the very first issue starts out with this young man right here as a young boy. And in the village, they were living, him and his best friend were living in, and everything else in between, along with their families. They saw three orcs coming their way and stuff like that while they were out messing around with an apple tree. And in that apple tree, after they fell out of the apple tree and stuff, they saw 3 orcs riding towards them and stuff like that, and they said that we better go tell our families, better tell everybody in the village, there's orcs coming. Okay? Ran their butts all the way there and stuff, and the villagers got prepared for the orcs to arrive. But the orcs took one look at them and stuff like that and said that they're just farmers, you know? This ain't worth our time and stuff. And they decided we'll just report back to our chief and let him know anyway and stuff like that. And before they could even get back there, something lopped one of their heads clean off. And the other orc is just standing there like a what just happened? You know. Next thing you know, all three of them get killed. And then next thing you see is the village is on fire. There's people screaming, there's people running, and everything else in between it. And you find out vampires showed up and killed them. Showed up and killed the orcs, killed the damn villagers and stuff. And this boy survived. He survived. The thing is, though, once he survived, he decided he wanted revenge on these monsters. He didn't care about the orcs. He didn't care about any of that stuff. He wanted revenge. Okay? For the death of his family, the death of the villagers, and everything else in between it. Now he's a well-known mercenary type warrior in the King's Guard and stuff like that. And they meet at this spot where they're having a truce between the orcs and humans. And they decide we're just going to form a truce, an alliance, if you will, and we're going to take down these vampires together and stuff. Well, the vampires are always, for some reason, out near the water. And out by, towards the ocean and stuff. And everybody's just like, they don't believe if the vampires are there or not. Well, it turns out the vampires were there, because that's while they're there doing their meeting to, you know, for this little truce get together kind of form an alliance kind of deal, okay, the vampires show up and attack. And they have to, him and him are both mortal, you know, former enemies, okay? They fight back to back in battle and stuff and everything else in between. Now, beforehand, this is his cousin. This little lady orc right here is his cousin. Is the one orc guy's cousin and stuff. Her and him start getting along. So it's kind of building up to a will they, won't they kind of deal. Right away, they're, you know, becoming friendly with each other kind of deal. And learning to trust one another. Okay? The Hunger in the Dusk ends on a cliff note, basically. Ends on issue 1's ending. Basically is saying they're forming this alliance to kill the vampires. But the question is, how did the vampires know they were out there? This area that they were in was supposed to be secure. There was supposed to be like some kind of magic barrier or something around it that one of the wizards was supposed to set up. Wizards or sorcerers were supposed to set up and stuff, so they would not be detected. So the question is, how did they find them? That's what they're even asking. How did they find out we were here at this spot? Now, Hunger in the Dusk, was this a hit or a miss? To me, it was a hit. I got hooked on it from issue 1, and I said, after reading issue 1, and I said, I gotta know more. I got to know more. I gotta read more. So, Hunger in the Dusk, issue 1, is a hit. We're going to be continuing on with this one. If I can find the issues, single issues and stuff like that, issue 2, 3, so on and so forth, okay, for pretty cheap, I'm going to get them. Otherwise, I will grab the trade paperback and read from there. And go from there. Yeah, either way, this was a hit. And that's it, my adventurous ones. 5 misses compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. The hits outweigh the misses. And I gotta tell you right now, when it comes to good stuff like this this good storytelling, good reading, something that's going to keep you hooked on it and go, I gotta know more. I got to know what's going to happen next. Is something you will want to appreciate and read more of compared to what is in the miss pile. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Hit or Miss. Let's hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Did you think the hits were awesome? Is it something that you yourself might want to get in on? Or did you think they should have been more along the lines of in the pile with the misses? Basically, the ones that we won't be continuing after this, after reading. Let's hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And I'm sorry about this video being super long, but this is how it goes. Anyways, for a premiere episode, not too bad. Anyways, if this was alive, it'd be a totally different story. Anyways, let's hear your thoughts down in that comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, and hit that bell notification. We got a lot more on the way in 2024, and you don't want to miss out on any of it. So hit that bell and set it to all. Until the next one, my adventurous ones. Peace out. May the force be with all of you. Never last one of y'all have a safe, lovely, and beautiful week out there. Take care of yourselves, your family, your friends, your pets, loved ones in general. And be smart. Use this. Be smart. Don't do stupid stuff out there that takes you away from everyone. Take care. God bless. I'll see you all